Muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, thank you to all for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone shares with me. From the Cora, se los agradezco mucho. Also, do please like, share, subscribe, and hype the video. It really helps the message out a lot. But anyways, getting right into what I want to speak on today. Today, I want to touch on an individual that I've been asked many times about, right? Because he's well known that he got made, right? And that, in my belief, again, is my belief, right? Everyone could take their assumption from it is he wasn't ready to be made, or it wasn't material to be made, period, right? But, anyways, I want to talk about Travieso from Sanfer. I do apologize. I look under his real name, everything to try to get a picture for you guys, and I only found the one Mundo put up, which I'm putting it up with all due respect. You guys know, see how it goes, right? But just so you guys have an idea who I'm speaking on. But let me take you back to when I first hit the feds, right? As you guys know, I went to Eloy, was there, I don't know, 3, 4 months. Then they shot me to Pennsylvania when where everybody was at, and of course you go through the whole rundown, right? Your paperwork checks out, you're good. If you were involved in any way, your name's already there anyways. And amongst the individuals I got introduced to as a camarada, was the homie T from Sanford, you know, and I did not hear it from a Pili. I would be lying to you if I said I did. I heard it from a homie Frankie, right? Sana's right hand man. And Frankie was from Sinaloa too, so, you know, well, we speak different, right? We'll just leave it at that. And Frankie didn't like him. He said he's always staying behind when something happens. He always finds excuses when something needs to be performed or whatever, things in that nature, right? Keep in mind, Frankie from F Troop, that fool, he was a hog. I'm not glorifying him, but that fool took care of business with the quickness. It was nothing like, hey, okay, run it down to me, let me hear. Oh, this fool has to go. 100% sure, Simon, vámonos. He's gone tomorrow. He was just that individual, right? As it should be when you're amongst Phillies, right? You don't need all that extra paperwork or he said, she said, or if a Philly's telling you directly, it should not be up for question, period. But anyways, within a month and a half, 2 months, maybe at the most, Homo Travieso got made, and he got made. It was more so on the agenda G.I. Joe had with Joe, Big Joe, right, to get in the valley. They wanted to get up in the valley because, well, you guys have heard what happened with Solo and Sapo was already at that time, and they didn't want to leave it to Homeboy, right, to Torres or Mosca, and they were trying to get someone trustworthy in there, right, to start doing things right. But I said it before and I'll say it again. It's way different state and federal. State, you're working on a small scale, right? Which is what? Run a yard. Now maybe be one of the five, six entourage taking care of an individual when in reality it makes no sense, right? Let's say the whole Sureño Ranfla decides to wipe him out. What is an Emmy member and five individuals gonna do? You know, it's just, anyways, it's just to show off power, I guess. But Travieso was short going home, and there was already conversation on Mosca and the issue. Chato from Laverne was pushing through as other Pilis, and it wasn't going to take long, you know, for them to remove that from Mosca. Just they needed to set base because there was a lot of money there. It wasn't losing Mosca, it was losing the Feria. So, anyways, they had hopes for this cat, right? And there was new arrivals. Mm, they did their committee part, came out to yard, and there was a homie that was real quiet, like real respectful, real quiet. You know, he was from Pacas, and you could tell he's been around just the way he carried himself, right? And for some reason, these two individuals didn't like each other. The problem was that tea was already made, and the homie from Pacas wasn't, you know. And anyways, one day on the yard, it scaled, right? I guess T felt the homie from Pacas had to fall underneath him because, well, he was going to be given the valle pretty much, right? To work with, well, you guys know, Danny Boy and Serio and those that were there, right? That were already in conversations of going to the feds. And I was on the other side of the yard with Sana that day, but I don't know what led to what it led. I guess T disrespected the homie. Straight disrespected. You know, I even feel bad repeating it, right? But anyways, had to do with his mom and stuff. Weenie, well, and it just goes to show, that yes, we all fall underneath them, but in reality, they all fall short of sureños. Think about it. When have you seen an amico do a hit that counts? I'm not talking about go hit another member that's 70, 80 years old, right? And you're 40, 45. Nah, something comes up. Hey, don't trip. I got that fool. Even though he's a youngster, he's known to be with it. Nah, they pick a sureño and, oh, go ahead and take two others to handle that. That's, well, to me, it's not manhood. And I say it not proudly because I followed that for many years, right? I did it as so for many, many years. But anyways, and this time they had the argument, and I guess the homie didn't take it no more, right? The homie put the dogs on this fool, and I guess Tease and the Raj that was with them didn't like him because he didn't jump in. They allowed homie from Pacas stomp him in. I'm talking about not just coscorrones, guajaloteras, chipotes chillones. He beat him down. You know, I don't think he whacked him because he didn't have it on him, but he knew it was the end of his career. Me personally, I would have whacked him until he ain't moving no more, right? You taking my career? Cool. I'm taking your life. It's just that simple. But anyways, things got sorted out, separated. At the time, you know, the carnales were divided. Like I said, Joe, Gia Joe, and other the people who were trying to get into places that were going to be vacant and get themselves in that place, right? There was other carnales like old man from Garrity just wanted to do his thing, get high. Sana pretty much the same thing. Unless you mention his name, then he was gonna flex on you. And you had a whole bunch of different pilis, right? Chino chasing carga, chasing youngsters to see which ones they were by. You know, it was like there was a lot of pilis, but they were all running a different aspect, right, of politics. And you know, I saw the whole thing. I'll be honest with you. I was sitting with Sana. We ain't even tried to get up. I sat there. I put my my elbow on Frankie's shoulder, and we were just watching this fool get stomped out. You know, and afterwards, it's when it gets tricky, right? For one, they can't allow a Sureño to put hands on an Eminem member just because he decided to. You know, if that was the case, it would be another carnal doing so. But which carnal, if you ask me, on that yard was going to be willing to, you know? So, 2 days, the homie's fate was decided. They came out, they hit him, they whacked him, removed him, because he put hands on a member. Now, Where I had the problem is, you know, okay, I told Sana straight up, mire señor, okay, con todo y dado respeto, everything's understandable, right? Everything's set, written in stone on how we're supposed to behave, and but where does that leave you, Batos? And I ain't questioning you. I just want to know. As me ask me why the homie was doomed, stabbed, removed, because he defended his pride as a man, as a sureño. He disrespected his headphone, his person, and he still couldn't do it. It still fell back on him walking away in a bad situation. So when our guidelines going to be put to the point where there's got to be respect there, you know? You're asking us to put our life in the line for the causa, and we both know the causa is you guys, but we can't get respect. And I told him, I'm mentioning this to you because your age, your respect, and if you say this conversation will leave nowhere, and it's not going to leave nowhere. I'm just asking you, you know, I want to know where we stand at. He said, let me think about it. I'll get back at you on it. Never. I never heard of it again. The only thing I heard from was from Frankie that Topito was not to be considered trustworthy no more. They were going to wait for him to hit the streets and, you know, be properly removed. So I said, cool. So the señores are going to take action. No, you know what I mean, fool. I said, okay. So camaradas are going to deal with it, right? And them camaradas that deal with it are going to get put on the list and get hit. So it's just a never ending circle, right? But it didn't happen as so, you know. Toñito got out. I guess he got a little brave. He wanted he wanted to touch someone that we weren't really touching with, which were the Zetas, right? He had primos, whatever. So he was going back and forth and he was working things. He was working things the right way, right? But on his head, he was already no good amongst us. But since he was bringing feria, you know, you can lift that rug and poquito a poquito, you know, it's being swept under. So, anyways, they send him on a mission to Tamaulipas to support the Zetas, right? Because that's what you got to do in Mexico. You can't just speak about it and run a good one. Nah, you have to go out and buck up and really be about it. It's how when I got out there, we opened up cancha in Sinaloa, and everywhere we went, it's how we earned ours. Well, like I said, Topito wasn't made for it, right? I guess the first fool he saw them skin, that fool was terrified. He disappeared. Till this day, nobody knows where he went. I've never heard of him before. So, it's real easy for a lot of people to come up and say, oh, I'm a killer. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'll go buck up and handle business. No, you could be an accidentally, you could accidentally kill someone being panchero. At the end of the day, you're not doing it. It's the gun doing it. See, you see a killer is not going to shoot someone, turn around and get scared and run away. He's going to shoot someone, keep running towards him, get on top of him, and unload the rest, right? Or you get sent out to Mexico and they tell you, hey, hold his hands down, hold his feet down, and you see how a chainsaw takes off the head, or you skin him, you know? And the reason why I even touch on this, because I've been asked a lot. At the end of the day, Travieso was never M material. He wasn't even camarada material. And when he had something right going for the organization, they skinned him from the waist up. He never got seen again. He didn't want nothing to do no more with nothing. Cause when the color that runs through your back is yellow, it don't matter what comes out your mouth. The truth will always comes out. But anyways, I know there ain't too much of a message on this one. So I'll say as a cautionary tale to answer to a couple subscribers about this. I do want to make a point though. A lot of people say, oh, camaradas are never going to get tired. Oh, it's already happening a lot. You don't hear of it because it's not to their convenience for you to hear from it, right? But believe me, there is already a movement. And it's sad because all that needed to be done there was respect. But I guess a sureño ain't even good enough for that, right? Stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Buenas noches.